Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe to our channel as we dive into tons of hidden gem movies ready to premiere. Want to watch the full movie? Get a lifetime subscription to a popular streaming service for just $1.99. Link in the description. Will you take me to a love hotel? Margaret's voice is soft, almost trembling as she asks the question. But this isn't just an invitation. It's a cry for escape, a desperate attempt to fill the gaping void inside her. In the neon haze of Tokyo, Margaret wanders the streets like a ghost, searching for solace in the city's anonymity. But Tokyo isn't offering comfort. It's offering mirrors to her loneliness. By day, Margaret teaches at a flight academy, a world of structure, formality, and polished uniforms. "Good morning, Temiko," she says with a carefully practiced smile. The students adore her, even giving her the nickname Rockstar, but Margaret doesn't feel like one. Beneath her composed exterior lies a woman unraveling. At night, Margaret slips into the chaos of Tokyo's bar scene with her friends. They laugh, joke, and dream of wild escapades. "What's it like to be a real drunk?" one friend muses. Margaret laughs along, but her thoughts drift far away. What would it feel like to completely lose myself? The question lingers, heavy and unspoken, as she watches the neon lights blur outside the window. And then there's Kazu. "The most beautiful man I've ever seen," Margaret tells her friends, her eyes lighting up for the first time. Kazu is no ordinary man. He's a Yakuza enforcer bound to a life of violence. But when he's with Margaret, there's a softness in him, a quiet intensity that draws her in. "Why Japan?" Kazu asks her one night, his voice calm but curious. Margaret doesn't hesitate. "To be alone," she says, the honesty surprising even herself. In Kazu, she finds a strange kind of safety. Someone who doesn't judge her brokenness, but reflects it back to her. Their connection deepens in Tokyo's love hotels, places where intimacy thrives in the shadows. But this isn't just physical. Kazu becomes a mirror for Margaret's pain, gently coaxing out truths she's buried for years. One night, Margaret lets her guard down. Her voice wavers as she speaks of her past. "My father abandoned me. My mother died of cancer. And my brother..." He hears voices that torment him. Her words hang heavy in the air. Tokyo was supposed to be an escape, but the weight of her past clings to her, no matter how far she runs. Kazu takes Margaret to Kyoto, to the sacred Kiyomizudera temple. Inside the Buddha's womb, a pitch-black tunnel symbolizing rebirth, Margaret walks toward an illuminated stone at its center. The darkness presses in on her, suffocating and inescapable. She emerges into the light, but nothing feels different. Her pain remains. The symbolic rebirth feels hollow, as though healing is a promise life refuses to keep. Margaret's carefully constructed facade shatters when she's fired from the flight academy. "You let the girls down," her boss says coldly, and the words cut deeper than Margaret expects. For the first time, she's truly untethered, floating aimlessly through the chaos of her own life. The final blow comes when Kazu tells her he's getting married. "It's not exciting love," he admits, but it's love. Margaret is devastated. She realizes that their connection, no matter how deep it felt, was always temporary. Spiraling into despair, Margaret dives deeper into Tokyo's underworld. Nights blur into reckless encounters in love hotels. What once felt like freedom now feels like a cage, the city swallowing her whole. In a rare moment of clarity, Margaret decides to leave Tokyo. She calls Kazu one last time. "Thank you," she says, her voice trembling. She finally understands the meaning of the Buddha's womb. Not literal rebirth, but the courage to keep moving forward, even when life feels messy. "I feel it now," she whispers. "My birthday." As she boards her flight, one of her former students greets her with a warm smile. It's a small, quiet moment, but it feels like the universe is reminding her. Life is messy, but connection is always possible. Things are ragged and messy, Margaret reflects in the film's closing moments, but somehow everything is beautiful. Margaret's story isn't about perfection, it's about acceptance. Embracing life's chaos and moving forward no matter how uncertain the road ahead might be.